Hey guys, so part two of parenting with F&D, specifically parent-teacher interviews. So as you know, I discussed some of the problems I faced last year, which obviously again, it wasn't the school's fault, but just probably about me needing to be a little bit more proactive about checking that places are going to be accessible before I go there. And then hopefully by me being proactive, we will see places considering people's accessibility and needs a little bit more. Oh gosh, I did have good fine motor skills earlier on today, but apparently not now when I need them. Anyway, so as I discussed before, there was the problem with the step at the bottom of the ramp and the problem with my wheelchair not being able to navigate the large hill. So someone liaised with me and met me at the top of the school. They actually had put out cones so that we had a special place to park the car so that I could easily get in and out, which is great because there's actually no disability parking nearby, so often we can't get the wheelchair next to the car, which on a week where I'm having such a bad flare and cannot walk on my own was really helpful. So they actually put in a ramp where the step was, which, wow, that's a lot of effort. And hopefully I'm not the only person who will ever need to use it. And the small lip at the top, they hadn't been able to fix yet, so I had to go up on the road, but this time the wheelchair was able to do it with a bit of help from my husband, so it wasn't so bad. And they also did something that I hadn't even really thought about myself, so I'm really grateful that they actually put in this much thought and effort. But they situated, so you know, I had to see 4 teachers being high school, and they're situated all over it kind of looks like exam conditions where like there's just little desks and there's like little poles with the teacher's name at the top. Anyway, so they looked at my booking because it's all online, saw which teachers I needed to see and situated them all at the back at tables. So I waited at the tables and the teachers just came to me. So that was ridiculously helpful. And you know, normally when I'm having a flare like this, if I was just seeing one teacher, so say if it was my son's teacher, I would probably just reschedule and just explain the situation. But you know, with high school and having 4 teachers, that's quite difficult, and at least having them all in the one afternoon over that hour of time, you know, it was over and done with, and I know I'll spend the next few days in bed, but it would have been a lot harder if I had to reschedule and then see a different teacher each day. So, you know, sometimes you just have to kind of pick your battles, I guess. But, you know, there are other ways of communicating, and like I've said before, you know, our kids do have that added stress of having a parent that maybe, you know, isn't in the same role that they've known them to be, or, you know, they're having to help out a lot more in different ways. Like, you know, my kids are cooking dinner and cleaning and doing things that, you know, none of their friends really have to do, and it's a big workload, and it definitely does affect them. So communicating with their teachers is really important, even if it's just to like see that they're still coping like socially and emotionally, like are they withdrawing, do they need to talk to anybody, things like that, because over time that has actually been something that we have been faced with. So generally I communicate by email with teachers, and the reason for that is because when you have brain fog, you know, I can conduct an email over a longer period of time. It also means that I have that email to refer back to, whereas if I do it over the phone, I can forget things. You know, I might have to rely on having to write things down. My fine motor skills don't always allow me to be able to write. So I find email is quite good because then I can also use voice recognition if I am unable to use my fingers to push on the buttons. But, you know, that's not the only way. You know, teachers will do phone conferences. I've heard of teachers doing like video conferencing and things like that. So, you know, all I'd really do is encourage you to talk to your teacher or your school and see what would work best for you and your situation. But don't feel like you're a burden and that you should miss out just because you have F&D and you can't access parent-teacher interviews like every other teacher, you know, not every other teacher, every other parent. You know, I'd really like to see that parent-teacher interviews became more the norm to occur, not just through face-to-face interviews and things like that. Yeah, my brain's completely foggy. I'm so sorry. So yeah, any questions, comments, let me know and I will get to them as soon as I am able to. Thanks.